On April 24th, 2025, Zenfall Interactive released their debut title, Clair Obscure Expedition 33, a game that went on to sell over 2 million copies within their first 2 weeks of launch. A game that succeeded in every single aspect, from the visuals to the storytelling, the combat, and also the music. An element that is so powerful and present in Clair Obscure, even by the first few seconds of the game, the gentle vocals performed by Alice Duport-Parcier had you completely enraptured and granted you the realization that you, no matter what, will see the end of this journey. And as you took on this journey, you're continuously awed by this experience's musical achievement. Between the ethereal sounds that paint the background of each environment to the, at times, zesty riffs that accompany a choice encounter in the overworld, you think to yourself, surely this is the work of some mastermind, some industry veteran that has allowed their creative genius to once again hit the medium of video games. But it's not. Meet Lorien Testard, the debut composer responsible for Clair Obscure's remarkable 154-track OST. So how did this happen? How was Lorien able to land the role of composing the music for one of the most defining titles of the current generation? Surely he must have had an incredible amount of training and schooling to be able to produce at such a high level. But the answer is much more simple and serves as proof that incredible possibilities can bloom from passion and the consistent pursuit of your dreams. Lorien's love for video games had always been present. When he was a baby, his father worked at a video game store in France, and it was his father who would pass down his love of video games to him. And much like us, many of his fondest memories growing up were deeply connected to video games. At a young age, he spent hours on the Nintendo 64, playing games like Mario Kart and Mario Party, but as he became a teenager, he completely immersed himself in the world of The Legend of Zelda, which he claims made the deepest and most emotional marks on him growing up. Games like Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess. And on the Expedition 33 website, it even mentions some of his other favorite games, like Xenoblade Chronicles, Hollow Knight, and Nier Automata, a game with a hauntingly beautiful atmosphere and music that helped shape every corner of its world. And it was this power that music had, this ability that emotionally connected you with the game's journey that Testard wanted to hone, and to one day use and bring an entire universe to life. So then he got to work. As he became an adult, Lorien started to teach guitar lessons, but in his free time, he would compose video game music. For almost every single week for a year, he made new compositions and would upload them to his SoundCloud, so that by a year's time, he had crafted over 50 original works that he was actively sharing with the entire world. But one day, he shared one of his compositions to a weird indie game forum, and this decision changed his life forever. After hearing Lorien's music, a man by the name of Guillaume Brochet, the game director at Zenfall Interactive, reached out to Lorien with the opportunity of a lifetime to compose the soundtrack for their upcoming debut title. And as you may already know, Zenfall was a brand new studio, and what would go on to be a 30-person team by the time the game shipped was only 6 people strong at its start. Led by former Ubisoft developers, their 6-year development journey on Clair Obscure Expedition 33, then called We Lost, had just begun, and Lorien was there from the beginning. From the very start, Lorien's vision was clear. He wanted to create an immersive musical world where every song told a story about the game's universe and its characters. Guillaume shared this vision, and the decision to recruit Lorien as the OST's composer this early on meant that this up-and-coming prodigy had access to early concept art and parts of the script that aided Lorien to craft the sound of Clair Obscure and creating the very identity of the game's world and characters. And when writing specific characters' themes, Lorien had specific instruments in mind that performed as the voice of that character. Take Gustave, for example, a deeply kind character that truly loved Lumiere and its people, and would fight for those he cared for most, was represented by the cello in his theme, an instrument that at times can echo the cadences of a human voice, drenching the melody in emotion and a sense of loss. Or take Minoko's theme, for example, and the choice to use the saxophone as the lead instrument, conveying the madness and energy and liveliness of the gestuals. But there is one instrument that is very vital to this game's sound, its very essence: the human voice. Laurie was able to work with incredible people on his team, one of which is the very voice of Expedition 33's world, Alice Duport-Percier, a voice echoing a sense of purity and isolation that weaves the story's strongest moments together with intense catharsis. Laurie and his team of musicians, singers, and arrangers pulled off something absolutely incredible. And to recap Mr. Testart's journey, he had always had a love for video games. Since he was a child, the music of his favorite gaming experiences conjured a passion that he was able to pair with an incredible work ethic, creating compositions in his own free time. Until one day, the universe gave back all the time, effort, and raw passion that he had put forth. But after 6 long years of hard work, Lorian reached out to his community just 2 months before the game's official release and shared his thoughts on his journey and the upcoming release date. He says, "I don't know yet how the music will resonate with players, but what I do know is that I loved every second of creating it. I gave everything. I have no regrets. I poured my heart and soul into it, and I'm incredibly proud of what we created. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for listening, for embracing the game and its music, for making it part of your own journey. I can't wait for you to experience it, Lorian." I think it's our turn to say thank you. Your work is inspiring, and we all cannot wait to see what worlds you create in the years to come.